Hey, what's up guys, back again with another video in the Java series. This time we're going to go over the linked list.
If you want to wave, then I am the Loch-Ness. Chip off the block, hop out the lot, grab me some food, then it's back to the spot. Say my name, call me Kevin. You get an L like your name was 11. Hold up, switch, hunters all stitch. She be playing games like she be on Twitch. That's all you, I ain't with the acting. 10 toes down, make a girl more.
Alright guys, so now that we know how to do the array list, which is pretty simple. It's like an array, but bigger and more better. Or did I just say more better? I mean, it's just better. So an array list is better, but now we can go over the linked list, which is even cooler in my opinion because it has much more functionality. It has many more methods that you can mess around with, okay? So it's pretty much the same thing actually. They're very, very similar. So let's just jump right into it really, okay? So we can go ahead and create a linked list by doing linked list like this, of course. And we just imported the linked list class from the utilities package of Java. So that's just what that did up here. And of course I have my documentation up here. If you don't have this, let me close it. Let me show you how to open it. If you want to click anything, you can do Control Q, and this will open up the documentation like this. You can leave it like this if you want to, but if you want to move it over here, you can do that. You just click this and then do Open as Tool window, and now it's open here, okay? And you can expand it, of course, if you want to, right? And this will tell you exactly how everything works in Java pretty much. You just have to click on what you want to know about, and it's going to tell you exactly how it works, okay? It's very, very, very helpful in case you don't know how to do something. So yeah, that's how you do that in case you're interested. And yeah, so basically the linked list is like an array list, like I said. So we can basically choose a data type that we want to store inside of here. So let's go ahead and store some strings like we did last time. So string, and like I said, we can store pretty much any object inside of here, just as long as it's not a primitive type. We can use a primitive type, but it has to be the wrapper for that primitive type, right? Anyway, so we're gonna store a linked list, and we'll give it a name, or we're gonna store strings, inside the linked list, but we're gonna give it a name of list, and list is gonna be equal to new linked list. And let's see, do Control P, and you can provide no parameters, of course, and that will just simply create a an empty linked list. And other than that, you can also provide some collections that you want to put inside of here, but we're not going to work with that, okay? So one of the differences are in between this and the array list is that, of course, if you do Control P, you can see that you cannot provide a capacity, right? So a linked list cannot provide capacity, but they can be expanded and compressed, of course, in terms of resizing, right? So that still works perfectly fine. So we can do that. So we can do list.add, and we can simply add whatever string we want to add before, right? So we can add A if you want to. You could list.add a B if you want to. Pretty simple stuff. But the thing is, with a linked list, it's way more powerful in terms of how many methods you can use, because the linked list implements the Deque and the Queue interfaces, okay? So if we go ahead and open up the documentation for the linked list by clicking on it, it will show up the documentation here, if it'll load. So you can see that it implements list, Deque. So if you click on Deque, we can see all the information for Deque, the interface for that. But also, Deque extends the Queue interface. Okay, so basically the Deque interface will inherit all of the methods from the Queue interface. So basically, you have all of the methods from the Queue and Deque interface inside of a linked list, because you're extending that from the Deque and Queue interface. So that's pretty cool. So basically, if we go ahead and look inside of here, we have a bunch of methods that we can use upon our linked list, right? So one of them would be the add first method, so we can try that. That's useful for inserting methods, as you can see here. So we can insert, remove, and examine methods, or elements in this case, right? So let me show you. So if we do list.add first, it'll tell us exactly how to use add first and what it means. So it inserts the specified element at the beginning of this list, right? Pretty simple stuff. So let's go ahead and do that. So add first, and then we'll use C, right? So now let's print the value of this list so we can see what we got so far. So we'll print that out, and as you can see here, we get CAB, right? And C is at the beginning because we use add first, right? So that's one of the methods that we can use. So it's pretty cool. There's a lot of methods that you can use with the linked list, of course, because like I said, it extends Deque and Queue, or implements, I forgot which one. But anyway, the point is, it's really cool because you can use all those methods. So you might want to explore all the different methods that you can use. And what I'll do for you is provide a link in the description. It's where you can check out pretty much all of the methods that you can use with the linked list, right? And they're right here, as you can see here. And it gives you a pretty good explanation. You can see that the add element adds an element to the tail. Add first will add an element to the head, which is the beginning. Add last will add it to the tail. Offer will add an element to the tail and returns a boolean to explain if the insertion was successful. Offer first adds an element to the head and returns a boolean to explain if the insertion was successful. Pretty cool stuff. So it pretty much explains everything. Then you have poll, which is going to retrieve and remove the head of the queue, the first element in the queue. And yeah, so and then pull first will retrieve and remove the first element in the queue. Pull last will retrieve and remove the last element from the queue, and stuff like that, right? So you have all these methods you can work with. So I advise you play around with these because they're pretty fun to work with. Okay. So yeah, so I'll leave that in the description for you in case you're interested, right? So let's go ahead and test some of these methods out, right? So we can do list dot let's see here, pop. So what pop is going to do is remove and return the value of the first element of the list. So it's going to return the value of the first element of the list, or the linked list, but it's also going to remove it. It's going to return and remove it. Okay. So if you want to pop something, let's try that out. Let's see what we get, right? So nothing happens basically except for this output statement that we have right here. So like I said, it returns the thing that you just removed from the list. So we can go ahead and print out this value. So sout pop, just like that. So now that's going to do that. So let's try printing this out. So I removed the C. That means that it removed the C, right? So we can actually print out the list now. And now the list should not have a C in it, right? Because the way pop works, it removes and returns, right? Pretty simple stuff. It says AB now. So that's pretty cool, right? So hopefully you like that. There's also peek. There's a bunch of stuff that we can use, really, list.peek. So what this is going to do is very similar to pop, except that it doesn't remove it, it only retrieves it. So it only returns the first element in the list. And then you can do peek first. If you want to just peek the first element in the list, that's going to retrieve or return the first element in the list. You could do peek last if you want to also. You could also do get. So that's going to get, first, get last, and then you have to get the index. It's all pretty much the same as an array list, but it has way more functionality. You can get the first or you can get the last, basically, okay? Pretty cool stuff. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. It's just a bunch of methods that you can use, if you want to play around with it. If you're interested in this, you could check it out. So if you have any questions about how to use the linked list, I'll be glad to help you. Just leave a comment below, or you can join our Discord, there's a link in the description for you if you want to join our Discord, ask questions, hang out with us, anything you want to do. Make sure you do that. And yeah, so like I said, I'll leave all the methods and everything for you in the description, so you make sure you check that out. But also besides that, I'll have some code in the description too, in case you're interested on some examples of how to use the linked list, okay? So make sure you check that out for future reference, alright? So anyway, if you like this video, leave a like. If you want to see more, subscribe, and peace.